So there are a couple things before we get going, and when I've done this in the past, I try to like walk everybody through every step, and that was not a very good use of our time. So what I'm going to try to do is more like practical, like, okay, tomorrow I want to take a practice plan, I want to change it, whatever else, and then to try to get like just like usability as opposed to understanding the full functionality. So that's what we'll kind of do is I'll just log in. We're going to steal a practice plan from somebody. We're going to change a few things around. We might add a drill or something like that to it. And then, like I said, hopefully it's more just like, here's how to apply what's out there. And then if you want to do things like draw your own drills or whatever else, then we can do that. And I've got a document. So that's why I have this page up. But there's a document that walks through that. And certainly even just YouTube, just type in HockeyShare, how to draw a drill. And the guy who runs it, Kevin Muller's got a bunch of how-to videos. So try to skip that part. I tried to do that, and so we didn't make as much progress as I would have liked. Because I want it to be as usable and applicable as possible. So if you scroll down on the coach's corner, there's a HockeyShare document right there, and there's a few screen clips and whatever else that you can do, or screenshots, excuse me. Just talks a little about updating your practice plan and how to find them and so on. But like I said, I'm going to try and make it pretty much as user-friendly and just applicable as possible, okay? But again, that is all there, and there are a number of videos or more screenshots, just kind of a hyperdoc to show all those things that are in there. You can see, the date was 2016, so there might be one or two things that had been moved around since then. Well, let's go ahead and log in. If you aren't familiar with the logins, there they are. They're by level, and hopefully that helps you out. So if you didn't have those logins, you can see the logins by level. And then one feature that's in there is the ability to email your practice plan to teams with 1 or 2 clicks, as opposed to knowing everybody's email address. So I believe those are mostly updated, but I will confirm with Mark tomorrow just to make sure, and I'll show you that as well once we reach kind of the final stage of the practice plan piece. So that should get you in there.
So when you log in by your group, it's planned specific to that group then?
It's more likely to be. It should be most easy to find practice plans that are going to fit you. And 2, it should have that distribution list for emails already in there for you. Okay. So that should streamline a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and log in.
You send those out, those users, are they somewhere saved? Or?
I actually thought they were on here. But we'll make sure we get that sent out. Like I said, I'm going to post this video. Okay, I'm going to post this video probably on that coach's corner. So it'll be in there, whatever, 2 minutes in, but also we can put that in. It's nothing too secretive. So it's not like we could just post it up there. I wish we had that good of secrets around here. So we'll just go, let's do squirts. And we'll just log in from there. And so on the interface, you've got your drills and practice plans. That's probably the main portion that you'd be looking at. So like I said, let's start with practices. So on practices, you can go in and do view my plans. And so this is going to give you a series of plans that have already been made. And you can see, really when they happened and so on right in here with the information. You can see how long it is, which age group it's applicable to. So, for example, we're just going to go ahead. We're just going to take a practice plan from your account, and then we're going to work through how we could use it for ourselves. And I'll just try to use 1 or 2 quick fictional examples so that we can move through it. So let's go ahead. We'll do a 3-team practice here with, looks like most of our squirts are out there. And so what I would do is click on the printable link first and just take a look at the printed copy. Okay, so what we're looking at, we've got some edge work with some information here, and then a 4 station. So somebody has created 4 stations already in here, and it breaks that down. So I'm going to show you how to take you can either take individual drills and make them into 4 stations, or there are a number of coaches who have done many of these pre-made station ones, and we can talk a little about how to manipulate those as well. So let's say, for example, all right, love this one. but I'm going to take out, we're going to take out the skating. We're going to put in a shooting drill instead, but I'm going to keep the 4 stations as is, and we will go from there. So I'm going to go back to where I started. And that was, I believe, this one right here. And so what I'm going to do now is create a copy with that copy icon. And I think it'll pop up with the word copy on its own. Maybe not, but we'll do that. And then it's going to go ahead and reload quickly. And there is your new one. Now, the most important thing to realize, you have just made your own version. You're not going to screw up anything for anybody else. And if you didn't mean to, just hit the little red delete button there underneath the 10U right here. Just hit that little delete button and it's gone, and it did not influence any of that. So now when we go into edit mode, we can see that. So for example, maybe it's just going to be these 2 teams, and it's going to be in 2 days. So I got the calendar, and it's going to start at 8 p.m. And lo and behold, we had a little snafu, 55 minutes. Okay. And we're all good to go there. And so right now you can see it's in that drop down, which again, Dan, to your question, is specific to the level. So it can go there. So we'll keep that as is. And the template stays pretty much the same. And we're going to update our practice plans. So like I mentioned, now we're looking at the individual drills. Unfortunately, when you hover over them, you can't see them here. You can hover and see what's here on the side with recent drills, and then these are the drills. And I have it blown up just for projection purposes, but if you shrink it down a little bit, you can see a lot of drills at once, and you can see some ones that people have favorited that seems to help them spot them again. Like I said, let's go ahead and pretend that instead of this edge work, we're going to do a shooting drill. And again, we're short on a few minutes, so we're going to make a few tweaks along the way. So I'm just going to delete that one from my timeline, and I'm going to scroll down. And I saw, I sent Coach Damberg an email and said, man, I really, really like what you're doing at this band practice. So I'm going to go to association drills, and Damberg is a band coach. So I'm going to scroll down to until I see the yellow 15, the band 15U. And he told me it was in the shooting category. And it was my 2-shot, 1 time drill. What a doozy, right? This is an incredible drill. Can't wait to get this in. Now what I do is click that into my timeline. And I want to do that first. So I'm going to move it up right to here. And I can see I'm 3 minutes over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that down to 7 minutes to ensure that I have filled my 55 minutes on my chart. Okay, so from here, I've made that change, and I want to take a look at what's going to happen. So I click on the printable version, got my date, my time has been updated. I put that in. Again, it's organizing those stations as it currently is in the timeline. And so I'm good to go there. Now, maybe I take a look back here, and I'm looking at this information. We got 8 minutes per station. And then some team time, right? We're going to rotate clockwise. That's fine. We're going to drop the 16 minutes of team time right to here. Okay. And instead of doing it that way, I'm going to come down here to the quick add. I'm going to put my 16 minutes here. Not exactly sure how we did that. Let's put 32. Change that to 32. Got my 16, and I'm going to put it here, team time. Okay, so I'm back to 55 minutes. I've got my 16 minutes of team time. I've got my information there. And then what I'm just going to say is, okay, V2 black, West End, V2 orange, East End. Okay, so I'm good there. And I've updated that information just because I like how it laid out better again. Now I go to my preview printable version. Now I've got it broken down. I can see we're starting team time at 8:39 p.m. And I've got that information all in there. Okay. So from there, when I go to print, this one is very short. So if you can print 2-sided, that's great. But if you can't print 2-sided, I would definitely encourage you to go 2 pages per sheet. And now you can see that. You can fold it in half and see the whole thing. Looks very small right now, but typically is readable. Also great for printing because you can get to 4 pages on one sheet of paper, which is really nice as well. So that kind of runs through the stealing a plan and manipulating. So I'm going to run you through kind of that same concept, but from a slightly different perspective. And so we're going to go back, or I'm going to go back to my practice plans and view my plans. And that was my copy. I probably would have taken the copy out. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that since we don't need it anymore. Okay. Another example, let's say we're looking at practice plans and somebody had a practice that they told you about, or they just wanted to see it, or they were on the ice before you and you spotted it, but they're at a different level. So you can go to view association plans. Again, so I was in practice plans and then association plans. So this is one that all the other coaches that are in our Delano network, all those logins speak to each other. And so if we scroll down to here, here's the practice plans that I've shared, and here's the 1,720 practice plans that other people have shared. Okay, so you may want to have a little bit of vision of where you're going, or you can just take the pheasant hunting approach and just throw something out there and see if something falls down that you like. But we take a look at from there. Again, you can look by level. So, for example, you take a look at our practice from today for mine, and that was that's termites. That's not the one. So here I've got high school for today. That was our special teams one. Here we go. So this morning, all right, 5:45 a.m. and I think that was good. I click the print preview. It goes really quick and shows you the whole timeline broken down. So you saw the 4-station thing that we had in the previous one. And I typically don't do that, which is partly just the level that I coach. But what I do for a 3-zone split or a 6-zone split or whatever is I do that quick add and I do 30 minutes there. And then the rest of the drills I put at 0 minutes. And then from there, I go through and do the math of when I'm going to make my changes and just put that in parentheses in that quick add. So that was that open gray bar at the bottom. It doesn't make a drill, right? There's nothing here. We're not going to see a diagram. It's just cleaning up that. And everybody, of the people I've talked to use this, it's 50-50. Some guys want the station and some guys want the time slot, whatever else. But I've got all those organized right from here. And then we'll take a look at who's doing what in just a second. But then you can just see that breakdown. That helps me stay on time because I can't do math and coach and stand up at the same time. So I can just do the math ahead of time and pop that in. You see the same thing from the second 3-zone split and that breakdown and then into our drills. So again, just so you can kind of see how that's broken down, if you know who you're going to be on the ice with. Sorry, let me zoom back out a little bit. So over on the side here, then I'm designating where those drills are. So, in a youth practice, you might have station numbers. Here. Okay. For us, we usually split up, by who's really what. But if you know which coaches are what, that's a great way to just put those things in. Again, that's that notes category on the right-hand side. So you can see that. Let's work kind of through the process of, again, manipulating a practice plan again. And so that was number 9. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy that to my own drills. Again, remember, this is an association plan. Got my practice plans, and there's my copy. So I'm going to go through the edit process. Again, call it 9.1, just so I remember what it's called. Oh, sorry. So again, I set that copy icon before, looked at my practice plans. I can update the date and all that stuff. I'm not going to do that because we already did it. I really try to put the focus in there. That helps me when I need to find another drill to fill in the last station. If I put out my focus and what I want to work on that day, that really helps. So today we got to get in better shape. We were really working on angling today. So we have a couple different drills to work on angling. We had a playmaking, and we always have compete in there for us. So we would organize this, go ahead and a 21-22 squirt for the folder. Don't worry about the template. It's going to be the best option. I've already defaulted them to that, and then update that plan. All right, so from here now, again, you can see, like I talked about, I did a quick add down here, and that was how I got the 3-zone split. So that information was just typed in. All right, and then you'll remember I talked about designating who's going to lead what. So click on the little notes thing, and I type in West End, and Coach Guile and Coach McLean are leading those. Okay, so for example, let's say you get here and you're not going to run 5-0 counter tires because of the nature of that plan. We're not going to have the full ice for one team anyways, so we're not going to do this drill, the 5-0 counter tires. So what we're going to do, remember that one, Danberg? So I'm going to take that one out, okay? And I'm going to take out strong puck clear. And again, assuming we cleaned up everything that we had before, and we do actually have 90 minutes. There we go. So now I'm down to 67, and so I'm going to fill that up. And again, I'll just use some examples. So let's say, again, you are looking at not just drills that are in your own, but another coach has talked about that. And so the best way to view that, excuse me, I'm just going to minimize my drills and open up association drills. And so, again, if I hover over it, I can see what it is. It's organized by category. And this one looks good. We're going to put in circle shooting. So I click on that. It pops itself in there. Automatic 10 minutes. We can update that. And we're going to do that scoring one-timer as well. Okay, so that pops in. And I'm going to go ahead and make this into a 2-zone split because I only have 2 goalies available in my fictional situation. And I got how much time left? Once I clear these out, so I must have 23 minutes. I'll make those zeros because I'm going to make this into the amount of time that I need. 23 and add. Okay. I might also, or I guess I'm going to undo what I just said. I do have one additional goalie who's going to have nothing to do. Okay. And I'm going to have my goalie coach take the goalies and work at neutral. And so goalie coach with one goalie, rotating one goalie at a time in the end zone. And so that's communicated as part of that split, 23 minutes long. Okay, and so I'm going to move that up above my 2 shooting drills. Put in West End or East End. But again, I already did that, so I'm not going to repeat it for now. So I'm going to close that one out. And now click on the printable version, and I'll see that that is updated. All my diagrams are now in order. As it progresses, we can go through there. One thing we're working on is getting more video to go along with this, and so you can see that video was just there. I guess this came from this goofy guy on here. He's got good stuff. But he is working on this one. So you can see that little video icon. Sorry, I jumped too far ahead there. But when I look at this information, you can see the little video icon right there. And if you do take a drill from a video, if it's on YouTube, it's extremely easy to add. And so I've encourage you to do that because it's easier for someone to learn from you in that setting. So now we'll take a look at the emailing process. And so to email a practice plan, you click there, and then you should have a drop-down list. So we should be able to send that to our PBA coaches and our PWB coaches and our Squirt C coaches, which it looks like we've got some work to do.
We're done, guys.
Looks like Hawk is on it. So it looks like we need to update those lists as I anticipated. But you put that in there. It does require you to put in a message, which can be good to communicate what's happening, or if you've done a really good job planning your practice and nothing else needs to be said, we find that movie quotes and things are a great thing to send out in that one. You do that, and then all you do is click send practice plan, and it's going to, if you've received a plan, that's how that happened, most likely. So it will create that PDF for them. So either ask them to print it, or you can print it yourself from there. So that, to me, is, I would say those are probably the most frequent questions that people ask me about. Again, I think the big thing is just a clear and confident understanding that when you look at somebody else's practice plan, once you copy it, it's yours. You're not going to screw it up. The same is true of the drill. Let me quickly do that for you. We haven't looked at the drill tab yet. So if I go into drills, and I'm going to go association drills, for example. And again, if there's one you really like, it's just a little bit easier to spot if you favorite it. But what I'm going to do is, let me get back to here. I think I did click on the right one. So I believe they're again by users, which I think will pop up. Oh, excuse me. This has dumped all of them together into one place. So it is fairly overwhelming in that regard. So that is, again, part of the reason why the favoriting is good. Or if you hear the name of a drill or you see it on a practice plan, for example, let's say, trying to think of one that would probably pop up. So, yeah, it worked the way that I hoped.
That ground push pull shows up everything.
Oh, does it? That's when you wanted to. Yeah, so there's another way I'm trying to realize. It's not organizing it the way I thought. So again, I do still believe that going into practice plans, and to me, the easiest way to find a practice or a drill that you want is to be in that process of working on your practice. And then instead of my drills, going into association drills, because this group is organized by the user. So that one will load up. Usually it's quick, but sometimes it does this stuff there. One other little detail. Let's just go ahead. I'm going to jump back to that practice that I made. It's 9.1, right? Okay. And when you're working on that, a lot of times you say, oh, well, I've got this drill. It's really good, but I need to make, but I've never drawn it before. So what you can do is go down to here and click create a new drill. And it's going to push you through the whole process of the drill diagrammer from here. So we always do it whenever we start a drill. We always put in how many nets are required. That helps us make sure we have enough goalies. We have to do a 2 or a 1 in parentheses. So if you see a drill of mine, almost all of them will have the parentheses before. And that really helps as far as counting nets, keeping track of goalies when you're doing stations or group work. And let's just go with, we're going to call this test 1, 2, 3. It's a half ice drill. I think it would be great for Bantams or older. And it's going to be a 1-on-0 drill. And you're good to go there. You don't need a custom category. If you had a YouTube link, that's where you put the link right there. And sometimes you have a YouTube link and it's 3 minutes in, and I'll just show you how I think you should best do that. And then don't share it with your team because I don't think anyone's using their team pages off of this, but definitely share it with the group. So we're brought into the drill diagrammer. You'll remember I selected that it was a half rink. And just going to go ahead. Coach is going to stand here. He's got some pucks. And then we're going to guys lined up in the circle. And I want them to be red so I can really spot where they belong. All right. And I've got my numbers, but I don't really like my numbers, so I'm going to turn the numbering off. Oh, actually, no, I'm not going to turn the numbering off. I'm going to leave the numbering on, but I only want to number the first one. So I'm just going to double click on the 3 and delete it. Double click on the 2 and delete it. Now it's X1. Got myself a goalie. He's obviously on the other team. So I'm going to make him blue. And this little cat's just going to do a breakaway drill, I guess. So we're going to do skating right here. Forward skating with a puck is the wavy line. Drop that down, and since he's red, make it all match. And he's got to go around one tire. And then this one, there's a freehand drill, so I can extend right down here. And again, in the diagrammer, tips and tricks, this is where it walks you through all this stuff. So you can add another button right there. And put it there. Keep adjusting my angles until it's what I want. Drop myself another tire right there. So he's going through the tires. And the action is that he's going to take a shot. So drop down the shot there. And there we go. There's my drill. And click save. And then progress to the next one. So again, as I mentioned, if you have a YouTube video, you can paste that in. And I would put that first in the description. So video start at 1 minute and 23 seconds. Then they know in the video how to progress to the drill that you just drew. Talk it through.
The videos, you're saying like you post the video in there so the team looks at it and sees it ahead of time, or so the other coaches?
So the other coaches can see it. So I showed you that little video icon on the practice plan. So when they get it, if it's got the video icon, they can go and check out where you got the drill from. We're trying to update our database. So using LiveBarn and pulling that film from our practices and putting it in so that we've got more and more video to be able to relay what we're doing. It's a bit of a slow process, but that's one thing I'm hoping to continue to do more and more of as we go. So we started here, just go description X1. It starts on the coach's whistle, etc. Play it all out. If there's something that you really want to work on, maybe we're doing puck protection away from the tire. A lot of times I'll put variations in here as well. So variation, so meaning like a way to differentiate, to work on a different skill might be in there. So maybe we do skate backwards. Puck until the hash. For example, right? Just putting that in. Again, I think those key points should be your teaching points. Ensure ensure the possessor is cupping the puck with good wrist ability. Okay, so I got that done. Save my drill. Okay. And so right now, unfortunately, there's a little glitch, but you can see it's now here, test 1, 2, 3. It also puts up here, I'm not sure what. It's a pretty easy fix. Let's clear that out. My test 1, 2, 3 is in. When I go to my printable one, and now I see the diagram that I just drew. Again, it's the same drill diagrammer as usual. That's how you'll draw drills in there. But it is nice to maybe not have to jump from one screen to the next, and it'll just pop right into the practice plan for you. All right, so from there, guys who have done it or guys who haven't, any questions or any processes I can walk you through that have been not easy, or maybe I didn't cover or went too fast or something like that?
I was looking for might and 8U drills
Okay.
last weekend when I was messing around with it.
Yep.
I know Matson's always sending them out and did a bunch, and I'm like, I couldn't find them. I don't know if I was looking in the wrong spot or.
I don't think Ben has used HockeyShare. I think
I was using something else.
he made his own spreadsheet.
Okay.
for all of those.
Okay.
What I can show you that we're starting to do, so Ron is working with mites, I'm working
Yep.
with termites.
Yep.
And so what I'm doing is as I go through it, I'm trying to steal a good amount from whether it's Ben or ADM or whatever else. But if I go into those association drills, come on, HockeyShare. There we go. For example, Mike, just specific to that question, if you come down to, where do I- I'm trying to my account here. Oh, I saw my name and thought I was in mine. I'm not in mine. That explains it. Kiwis. There's a lot of station work in here in these other ones, so we're not in the station category. That can be really good. So here's mine. I think I put also those younger ones I put in stations. Almost there. Oh, I didn't do the other ones. I'll move them into that though. So for example, this is just a screenshot diagram from ADM. I'm taking exactly what's in there and putting that in. So I do think that looking through other group stations is probably the best. So I guess I've got some here like Stands Free Soccer, British Bulldog. I guess I didn't categorize many of those. So I'll move those to stations. So I think that's where people would look first. So you can see just a number of screenshots that I'm pulling. Instead of redrawing them, or like in this case I did, this is a classic one, lay down the sticks and they have to play tag outside the sticks and change direction for those younger ages. That's there. One other thing too, Mike, that you could look at is if we go into practice plans and association plans. I've got a number of them as well. And you can go back by date to STP. And so there's going to be some ideas there that you could take away that was 8U and 10U for that age group.
Yeah.
Would be something you could do like this one, or maybe not. Well, yeah, 8Us are getting close to 10Us for sure, but this little crossover heaven drill, it's a great one to reinforce. You can have 3 or 4 kids moving at a time. So on. So definitely, I think the STP ones could be ones that would be out there as well. So again, that was in my practice plans, and then just scroll back by time into the summer.
Yep.
And again, click copy, delete some, keep some, and so on. Other questions, guys?
When I create a practice plan, should I go into 10U? I mean, that'd be the appropriate place
Yeah.
to log in and.
And when you do that too, if you want, so for example, I'm in here. So I'm looking at my plans, and I've got these folders over here. Just make a new folder. 21, 22, 8U. Now you got a folder.
Okay.
You can drop them in there. In the future, people can find them as well. So I don't know if you want to do that, so I'm going to do it, but
No. I don't.
and two, in there as well. So Ron Guild is using this, my account. So those association plans as well. So this is termites and mites. That's in there. And then two, on the teams, I think he's doing the same as me, but I'm just putting my practice plans right up on here instead of emailing coaches every week and whatnot. I just got practices posted here. I'll print it for them. And then I just got a Google Doc where guys sign up to leave a station number. And so they can just jump in. And so instead of, like I said, 40 emails for each one, just doing that each week, just updating that document so they can sign up. So far been good for us. What else you got?
Did it talk about adding an APO account at some point?
We actually could. Yeah, we certainly could. I think we've got one account that's open right now in our subscription. So let me put that on my list of things to talk to Mark about.
I think now that we know we can create a folder and
Right.
group them in one spot, that'd be nice.
Right.
Yeah.
And so often the 8U, 10U age groups, boys, girls, it's so similar.
Yes.
And,
Yep.
you know, exactly what we talked about yesterday. We can do the same drills as high school, it's just teaching at a different level.
Yeah.
And yeah, so for those of you that were out on the ice, I know a couple of you were. Yesterday I did put that up on the termite page as well. So just some of those key teaching points are now in here. It just kind of breaks down and just reminds you what we talked about, but those details. And then what I've done is taken that same list in my diagram. Sorry, let me switch to my account quick, I guess.
Did you send out those notes on that, my training program you did yesterday?
I have not, but that's what I was going to run through with Mike. Is kind of, or not Mike, Mark. Kind of how do we want to post the video from tonight? Okay. Make sure we got that. Include those teaching points as well. So the 6-station rink diagram, I just made that so we knew which station was where. But in the description, then I added all that same information. So every time I use that 6-station diagram map, and this is, so in my case, I would take this, put it in a practice plan. Let me show you one quick. So I think I used it here. So I put that 6-station diagram, I put my times in right here. And then I'm labeling in the category, instead of shooting, I just put station 1, station 2. But then the first thing that all the coaches will see on the diagrams is going to be the reminders of all the things we want to be saying when we teach and where those stations are. So again, did it once. Now every time I drop that in, I put it at, oops, I must have goofed that up. Go back to that. That I looked. Only got 6 minutes planned. Here we go. 54 minutes, that one. Give me my 60. And so 9:36 and then our times. Information there. So you can see there, Mike, too, quite a few of the just classic ADM stuff. A few things that we've added. All right, well, let's call it a day. Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Do appreciate it. Certainly. Thanks. Coaches, I did want to add one thing that we did not cover in depth enough from the meeting. And so I wanted to bring that up and give you a quick little look at that. So the topic is copying a drill so that you can edit or change it or whatever it might be. So there's a number of ways that you can go about doing this. The first one I'll show you is pretty straightforward, and that is to go into drills and then view my drills. So these would be drills that are already added into yours. And so right now we're taking a look at my drills here. And so, for example, if I wanted to create a copy of this, maybe the drill is really close to what I want, but because of my age group, I want to tweak this, or maybe even something wasn't clear in the directions and I want to clear that up for my coaches. You can do that at any time, and simply just find the one that you want and then go ahead and click the copy icon, and then that will load up, and we'll see right here it is says it's being currently copied to your account. So now I can see that drill that I copied, BBR, is now at the top of my recent drills. That's a good hint that you've made a copy. And also right down here, you can see I now have 2 versions of that. So what I can do from there now is just simply go through the usual edit process. And since you have 2 of them, you can now change that. And we can simply do, something like version 2. That just changes the title. To change the entire drill, I click on this pencil here. But now I've got 2 versions of that, and that's going to be really helpful in terms of editing to do exactly as I want. I'm going to delete that just so I don't have the duplicate. Probably the more common situation is trying to take somebody else's drill and modify it for the space available or for the level that you're coaching, whatever it might be. And you just want to be sure that you're relaying that information correctly to a coach. And so what you might have is maybe a conversation with a coach. Have a conversation with the coach. Say, hey, yeah, that was from practice the other night, and you know the day. And so go and find that practice plan. And so you're going to go practice plans to view association plans. Scroll down to the one that has been shared by others, and then we're going to go ahead and take. I'm just going to use my own because I know that I've shared it. But you could select a practice plan from any of the levels of coaches that you were referring to. And so, for example, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the practice that's right here, and you'll have that printer icon, and you can bring that up. And so the drill that we're going to look at is Pominville push. So now that I'm looking at the practice plan, I'm just going to go ahead and copy the name right there. Control C, just so I remember the name of it, and that'll make it just a little bit easier. And I've got it here, but the problem is I've only got 1/6 of a zone, so maybe I'm going to switch and rotate that, or maybe I'm only going to have it come from one side as opposed to 2, whatever it may be, however you want to modify that drill. So I've got the name copied. I know which one I'm after, and so I'm going to go back to HockeyShare, the other tab, and I'm going to go into drills. I'm going to select View Association Drills, and then I'm going to type that in right here. Pominville push, and do make sure you click search, not just enter. Enter doesn't work on this feature, but right to there. Now I've got Pominville push, and right here I can go ahead and click the copy. Tells me that it's been added to my copy queue. If I go back to my drills, I can see that one is still being copied. Now I can see that Pominville push has come up in my recent drills. Now I've got my own version. The coach that I took it from, it will not influence that coach's drill, and I can do whatever I would like with it, whether that's rename it or change it completely by selecting the edit and working through those same steps as you would if you created your own drill. So hopefully that's helpful in terms of drill sharing and drill modification from one to the other.